Everybody moves up the food chain. Everybody's staying where they are. We're not doing anything. Well, come to us and say, hey, Gary, we're having a budget problem. We're at the end of the year. We might wait till October 1. It's August. Can you guys wait? Or whatever the situation is. It'd be nice to tell career employees, hey, we're having a problem with this. Or I would assume that when you get up to that, you can get somebody from we're bringing someone from the outside. We're not going to do an internal thing. Or what it is. We're just asking for a little information, I guess, maybe, that there's some kind of infrastructure problem here, operational procedure that we're having problems with, or we're looking at a new test, or whatever. We just don't want the blow off and say, hey, we're not filling this position.
And there have been issues in the past, like when Dr. Ford was the interim director, she put out a directive implementing a file review instead of the standards which we always have in place for promotion. And this would prevent something like that from happening. It keeps the same rules in place. Even if we agree on different rules than what's in here,
Right.
keep them in place. It wouldn't be an
Sure.
arbitrary change.
So what was the problem with her file review?
It was arbitrary. It was her personal opinion, which I know she was the interim director. But I feel like it damaged the credibility of the process to change it all of a
Why,
sudden.
looking at somebody's file?
No, I think it's fine to look at somebody's file.
Oh, it's
but we have-
arbitrary.
but-
It's not,
Yeah,
I scored a test, I scored here, I've got my evaluations as supervisor, my experience, my seniority, assessment center, whatever we agreed to. Would you like somebody just to say, well, I'm just gonna look at you two guys' file and I'm just gonna come up with what I think might.
I think she made that part of the process and was told before the process started. So all that was mapped out ahead of time, so people knew that was gonna happen.
Not that they agreed to it.
We did know that it was gonna happen, but we weren't given the
what
process.
would count for what in the rubric was not there.
Correct. We were told that it was a file review that would count for 60% of the total weight of your promotion evaluation, and there was no, we weren't told how that was gonna be conducted. We weren't told until way after the fact of how our files were weighted and what counted for what points and what did.
But they had a method that they did that, right?
Right, and there were, I think, 2 grievances filed over it.
But they had a method and it was documented up front.
Right, but the problem is it was changed like that. We don't want that to happen again. We want it to stay. Whatever we decide on, we want it to be for the term of the agreement.
So everybody knows what's happening, we're all in agreement, everybody sits there, we all know how the promotion's gonna go. Not somebody's gonna change it right before promotion.
You know, sometimes you change things because there's different ways to look at things and better ideas to come to get the best people.
Absolutely, so come to us and we can agree to it. That's all we're asking.
Okay.
Oh, temporary assignments.
How do y'all do that over at the Teamsters?
What's that?
Do they fill positions? Do they write it all down, how they do it? No, so why should we do it? I mean, if you don't do it, why are we gonna do it? I think it's just a legitimate question. Huh?
Be honest with you.
We may like your standard better. You like that one?
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Temporary assignments. That's Article 12. Let me make sure it's on 14. Page 50. Oh, page 50, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Temporary assignment clause.
Okay.
I like it, Deb.
No.
I said, okay.
Okay, I've read it, okay, I've read it, but I just don't, we like the one we currently have, I mean,
And
it's,
that
it
is,
works.
he can just pick anybody he wants.
Yeah, they pick the
But
people.
isn't it a great opportunity to, somebody you might think has that kind of capacity to be a supervisor, give them the opportunity to prove it? Or somebody who says, you're in the top 3, we're gonna make you interim, see how you like it, if it works out, if you like it. You know, not everybody wants to get promoted. Sometimes you get promoted, you make less money. in our world, law enforcement, the overtime, you know. I know, I'll give you, and I don't know why this guy took his promotion, moved some earn, but he's making 6 cents more an hour. He's going to night shift, back in the uniform. Why would you want to do that? Making 6 cents an hour more? I don't know. And then you're on shift work instead of working Monday through Friday. You might not want to do it if he's been promoted. So I think it gives an opportunity to a director to also see maybe somebody has talents they never even know they have in the top 3 and give them a shot. It might be a gem that you don't know you had and you give them a shot and in the top 3. Kind of almost an evaluation thing while you're doing it too, you know? That's the person you might think you want, the top 3 you might want to permanently give the position to.
Okay. Okay, we'll discuss it.
And the next one, I know you like the most, seniority. Putting that back in the document. Seniority shall have its privileges. You have any comment to that, sir?
I think we'll discuss it where they may use seniority now, but I don't know, we don't want this article written this way, but they're using it any type of way now, but,
Is seniority used anyway within the county, at any department in it, or?
some maybe, not as a whole, we don't recognize it in the merit rolls. Some divisions are using it as, without our knowledge.
So there's a practice maybe out there.
There may be a practice there is, we don't really know about it, and,
I don't know of any.
I don't know of any, but you know, we're a big county, so sometimes you find out stuff, just somebody's doing it, you didn't even know they were doing. And then we try to standardize it back out again. Right now, we don't know of anybody that's using it, but I thought I'd ask these ladies and gentlemen, I don't know of anywhere it's used, because it's just the way it's, you know, like I said, when you're in public sector and doing service, seniority doesn't always lend it. If we were working on a manufacturing line, it makes some sense.
Yes, you can do that.
You know, but I don't know if it makes sense in this arena. So right now, we don't see a reason. I'll discuss it with them, but I don't know how you do all that. When I have seen seniority, you probably wouldn't like. You start in January and say, all right, senior person, pick your vacation for the year.
Right.
And guess what? Comes up and it gets canceled that time, you're at the bottom of the list. Because it could get canceled because a major event happens. All of a
Sure.
sudden that weekend, a big truck group says they're coming to town and we gotta cancel
Well,
it.
that's the world we live in.
And then they don't like seniority after that.
And work in an office 9 to 5.
I know, but I'm just telling you.
But everybody accepts that when you work in law enforcement. We all accept those, especially on the beach. This weekend will probably be the biggest, if the weather's like it is today, Saturday and Sunday. We'll probably have to close the bridges, won't they? Right.
They might.
It's gonna be high tide at noon on Saturday, and it'll get ugly.
Yeah, they may have to
The
do
people
that.
that park early,
But
you
that,
tell
but
them to leave the
if you have
beach.
seniority and you'd pick this week to be on
What are you
vacation.
doing this Saturday, Tom? How about you and I, we do a ride-along?
Well, you come over, I'm probably gonna be working in my lawns, and you can probably come over and help me trim some trees.
Then we'll take a ride to one of these guys?
Yeah.
We'll jump on.
I've sold
the
rail all along, I don't mind, and Mark, I've always been, since I've been there, I wanna come do the ride along.
Do you have a ride-along program, Chief?
No, but I told him I'd be
Can
glad
I
to.
come ride along?
We'd be glad to
Be
do
okay.
It's
it.
up to county legal, you got a waiver to sign.
That's an easy answer, you said it earlier.
No.
So
Somebody else class.
but I'm on the beach a lot, so I know the weekends that it is or not, I know what, I'm out there really a
You
lot.
live at the beach?
No, I don't live at the beach, but we go a lot. A lot, and so I see a lot what goes on down there, I know what they do.
So as
I
a
know
county
they do
employee,
jobs.
he could do a ride-along, or you could, or anybody, Joe could?
Under certain circumstances, but it have to be legal paperwork, releases. and
Hold harmless agreement.
all that
All
stuff.
that stuff. That's
Where
why I
do you
haven't
go?
did-
Where do you go? If you don't mind me asking.
South Daytona,
Like Dunlawton area?
up into, more just up farther, in between, Beaufort and down to the parks, Sunrise, try to stay in that area.
You should come ISB on Easter, 4 PM. Let me know what you think about that law enforcement opinion that you got.
I know that area there, and I agree, that's a hot spot, and, it needs some folks there, because I definitely don't go there, I'm too old for that area, number one, but I understand that area. I've been there, I've been down there when it's not been nice, and, I've been there when it hasn't been nice at all. But I try not to go there. Just number one, the crowd's a totally different crowd. Now, if I was 40 years younger,
I would wonder though, if you took it several hours on a Saturday, if maybe your perspective would change on the job.
No, I say they never said they don't have serious jobs and hard jobs. I understand that.
I didn't say you did.
And they do. And just like the lifeguards out there have got very serious jobs and difficult jobs, especially during the riptides. Like these gentlemen are out there assisting them, and doing.
Well,
they're doing the other
the
duties.
scenario I gave you before.
They're doing two duties. They're up
They've
and
been
down
on the job
patrolling.
how long?
Me? There since '99.
All right, so almost 18 years? And Lee, are you like, you have the most seniority of a lifeguard maybe? Who has the most? You?
He's up there.
Mark,
But you're up there.
BSS is Mark or Chris Atkinson probably got me by,
So recognizing you have a hard job, 18 years, and he lives in Edgewater. It'd be nice if we just, you've done all that time, save all those hours, that you could say, you know what, if you can do it, I want to work in this Smyrna.
He doesn't want to work there.
No, that's not my point. I'm giving you.
We go all around
Trying to
this.
send you
Thanks,
down
Lee.
this- he's trying to send you down this
Sorry,
road,
buddy. Maybe they can squeeze you in, maybe they can squeeze you in on the other side.
We go all around this.
But that, my point is,
I understand that, but and I empathize with them, but, it just, we gotta do what we gotta do is keep it rolling very, and they try to accommodate these folks, I know they do. They do their best to try to get them off.
Hey, Brian was accommodated.
When-
When he was missing.
Oh, yeah, I argued about it, but,
Yeah, that's what he did, so he accommodated.
well, we know.
well, I appreciate it.
He wasn't.
But they do, but they got jobs to do also, so, they're doing all that, but they're trying to accommodate people, and we try to do that. But like I said, when I was going a while ago, is that you sometimes use seniority, then you bump somebody who has seniority to the bottom because of an event, they're not happy anymore. And then they don't like seniority anymore. And I've had it where they wanted seniority articles, and then they got it, then they didn't want the seniority articles after they got it, because you be careful what you ask for sometimes, because you get it. Because there's all these things you didn't understand how it works. And then, like I said, because usually when you start doing that, then it becomes very rigid. All right, January 1, pick your vacations for the year, now.
So how do you feel it now, chief, if there's some kind of, same people want the same week off?
I think it's,
He's the chief, not me.
Yeah, well, I'm looking that way.
they submit their vacation requests, and if we can accommodate them, we do.
But what if two people want the same time off? How do you differentiate that? Who gets what?
Depends on what shift they're on and whether I can cover it or not, whether someone had already put in. It's usually by the 3
First
months,
come,
at
first
3
serve,
months,
a
it's
lot.
first come, first serve usually.
Well, when do they do it? On a certain time span? Everybody puts their vacations in for the year to
They can
help
do it
out?
3 months in advance.
Then it usually works out, there's no log ahead.
I probably approve 95% of all vacations, if not more.
All right, the next one is the, Article 14, page 20. It's just referring to Florida State Section 112-532, Officer Bill of Rights. We'd like that in the agreement.
We don't want to put what's in the statute in the agreement. It's a statute. We're gonna follow the statute.
There you go.
It's in the
Let's put it in
agreement.
there.
You get an agreement, the statute changes, and people are looking at the agreement, and the statute's different.
And then that's why MOUs are born.
Yeah,
Changes,
that's
we'll have
why
an MOU, then we'll change it when it comes to the new agreement.
Why do you need to put something that's a statute that we all know we're gonna follow anyway? I don't understand.
Many reasons why. Many reasons why.
Well, how about one?
One, would you like 100? How people subvert the Officer Bill of Rights time and time and time again. I mean, I've only been doing this job a couple of years, and I've just run into all kinds of problems with people that are just absolutely blatantly violate the Bill of Rights. And we just wanted in the agreement, where we all agree what the Bill of Rights are, and not some fluid instrument that people can play with it.
It's not gonna
And I'm
change.
sure you got people that are certified IA, right, Pete?
But also what's gonna happen is there's nothing we're gonna agree to that's not in the statute. So I don't know about putting the agreement that's gonna make it different than the statute, because we're not gonna put anything absolutely different than the statute.
Right. We're not asking you to.
And so, to me, you say we wanted an agreement so they can't pollute with it, you can't pollute with it anyways in the statute. And you can put it in an agreement, but here's what I've told people over the years. You can put it in the agreement, but if they don't understand it when it's in the statute, you put it in an agreement, they're still not gonna understand it, and it's not gonna solve your problem. Putting an agreement don't solve problems. If people don't understand it, they don't understand it, period.
So you don't want anything in there about any investigations, obligations to the public, nothing like that? You don't want,
It's all in the statutes, we'll just follow the statute. We already know we have to do that, and we'll do it. You know, and these officers, they all know what their rights are in the statute. They're officers, they know how to look up the statutes.
you'd be surprised.
Well, put it in the agreement. so
Nobody
if
reads
they-
it until they get in trouble.
I know, then guess what? Then we put it in there, it's not gonna help them if they can't look it up in the statute to understand it, they can't look it up in the agreement to understand it. But I understand your position, but we just think it's,
How many page 20s are
all right.
I think the next one we wanted to talk about is employee management, is that Article 16. That's page 27.
I got 26. Oh, no, you're right.
That's this one.
You're right. 27, yeah. Wrong.
And this is just getting together if we need to. We send an agenda, and there's all transparency. If something came up we want to talk about, work it out as some kind of labor management meeting, if you want to call it. It works pretty good. I do it everywhere.
We meet with any employee who wants to meet with us, anytime they wanna meet
But
with us.
we as
We meet with,
collective bargaining unit,
we meet with the,
so I can come meet with you anytime, I have a problem.
oh, good.
That's right, you do it in 4 minutes.
We do it now, we have
But when
our,
it comes to me, it doesn't have as much impact as it would come from these guys and ladies.
well, we have them come
Yeah,
in.
we hope they would come in.
They come in, we usually then, they want to get with us, we work it out, we say, hey, come on in, and we'll, let's discuss it.
But it might not reach to your level, it might just reach to the director's level, that we just meet on, and I say quarterly basis, you might not have to meet for 8 months, but if something comes up, I say, I'd really like to talk about this,
Well, we
informally.
can talk about that, I just don't like a shell, because then they
Yeah.
become meaningless.
Exactly.
What happens is you start meeting, then you have nothing to meet about,
Right.
and then they become just horrible.
But if you wanna come back with some kind of mechanism or some kind of, just that, if things come up, we'd like to, and not hit you right when we come into the meeting, but send you the agenda, what we wanna talk about. You do the research, we do the research. So this is a problem, can we work on it?
Well, we practice and preach an open door, that you can come to your management, or you can come to us. If your management is not, being responsive, Mr. Deneen's philosophy is you go to your management. If they're not, responsive, you go to HR. And that's how we do it, especially with the labor unions, is, well, make sure you give your management lets us know, and then you can talk to them all you want. If you need us, we're here. And if we need to be involved, we'll be involved. If we don't, have at it. We don't have that problem. We want people talking and solving the problems. We just want to make sure they're consistent, they're doing it legal
Yeah.
and right. But we want people talking. The less problems there are, better for everybody. But we'll discuss. I just don't like a shell, because sometimes there's nothing to talk about.
Right, as they come up.
When they come up, we don't have a problem. We'll talk to you about that one.
Next, right on the next page, it's page 28 is training.
So what is this exactly you're trying to do with this?
Well, how much time do we spend on the pistol range? Or working with long guns or anything like that?
Twice a year.
Biannual qualifying right now,
So basically I show up, I qualify, and I leave,
basically.
right? There's like, no training like on,
Yeah, we've done deputy
Deputy
refresher, we've done
refresher as well.
extended training.
say it again?
We've gone through deputy refresher, we've done extended training, not just the qualified league.
Long guns do, shotguns, right?
We haven't done long guns or shotguns.
Is there any reason why?
We don't have long guns or shotguns,
Not yet.
not yet.
Is there a plan in the future maybe?
We'll see.
Because I can tell you from personal experience, when I was in a shooting, up close and personal, because I was old school, no vest, I only have a pistol. After what happened, I was told, Chief, I want a long gun, I want a shotgun, I don't want to be that close anymore, and I want a vest, and I want a vest that's going to stop something. So, that's something we wanted to talk about too, incorporate. And I know it's a budgetary thing, but in phases, giving officers the equipment they need, because I don't think it's, if it ever happens, but when it happens, there's gonna be, it could be active shooting on the beach. I'm surprised there hasn't been one yet. Or what do the terrorists do now? They just get a big truck and mow people down. How are you gonna stop a guy with a handgun that's doing that to people? You're gonna need firepower. And
Well, who stopped one now in any of them that's happened anywhere in the country, in the world?
uh,
Nobody stopped them, period. They couldn't. Unless they had a howitzer, unless they had a howitzer, you know, to hit
That's a
that
hard
truck.
example of control, I mean, with the guy getting in a truck driving and mowing people down. I don't think you meant that, I think you meant really in your normal circumstances, dealing with altercations or people.
Suicide by cop, I know a lot of people commit suicide at the beach. They go to the beach and they watch the sunset and that's it. And, you know, we talked about this before where mine was suicide by cop. Couldn't do it himself. So, you don't wanna be that close when somebody's made that decision. He was just telling me
When
an
do you
example of
usually-
where they were right in front of somebody who did it.
When do you know about it? You usually don't know about it, because you're up close by the time you realize you know about it, so how you gonna then,
Well, when you're protecting citizens, that's your number one priority. And if it's happening, you're gonna put yourself between that citizen and that person. Well, that's it, that's how you gotta react to your training. So they need some better equipment. I think they need maybe class 3 vests to stop something, because the ammunition you can buy today, I can go to a gun show right now and buy some absolute ammunition that will penetrate most vests. So, I think we need to have a conversation about long guns, shotguns, and things like that. Be better prepared. I think it's a tragedy that's waiting to happen on the beach. And like we talked earlier, it's every kind of crime on the beach. Sexual assaults, domestic violence. I mean, they just had that in San Bernardino, right?
We
Guy
got
walked in
murder suspects. We had a guy that shot his college professor in the face up in North Carolina. He was arrested on the beach. That was only a
You
year
don't
ago.
come to Daytona, don't they? You're either caught in a motel room or on the beach. Something in the water. So, this training is all about. Some more training, that they can respond better to these situations. And you gotta have, you know, and I can tell you from past experience, it's muscle memory, the training. Because when you get in that situation, and it unfolds in milliseconds, and you just recall your training. And I don't think the training's adequate for these guys to handle those situations, especially with the firearms they have, or the equipment they have to protect themselves, protect the public.
Hey, question, can you tell me more about your training that you get right now? Like, you know, some of the things that you do in there, to have a better understanding of what's going on. I hear just generic reference to training, but it really doesn't, tell me what you're actually doing.
It's been a fluid thing over the years. There's been pushes for more. We've gone through phases where there's been a little bit more extensive training. We've been through times when, we're required annually to qualify on the standard 40-round pistol course through FDLE to retain our certifications as police officers. Generally, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is one time out of the year, which I believe is coming up as our qualification. right around May. We show up at the range, we qualify, we do all of our research, our minimum mandatory research, which includes, demonstrating proficiency with OC, or whatever our pepper spray is, batons, tasers, and obviously our firearms, and that's the day.
You doing distress shooting?
We have done
We
it,
have.
but it's not a regular thing.
It's been something that I think we've done it the last 2 years.
Couple times, yeah.
Um,
refreshers.
And that has been conducted later on in the year during, more or less our slower season. I don't believe we did any, what did we do this past year for that?
Did you FATS training?
I'm sorry?
The firearm training with the laser?
Submunition training,
We did do simulation
Simulation
once or
game.
twice, yeah.
ammunitions.
In a shoot house, it wasn't.
In a
It
shoot
wasn't
house?
it wasn't the fast training, it was
Fast.
the simulation training. But we don't get shot at with the simulation.
So how many times a year do you do
Actually, we
do
changed
the
that.
training? I'm not really clear on that.
We qualify once a year, and we've been doing training once a year.
And so you're saying those are different types of
It's been
training?
different every year.
Every year.
Some years.
The
it's
state
wanted-
laws
they
is
wanted
just
to
shoot a
go
paper
longer
target
training.
at different yardage.
But that's
Doing it
only
right.
including law enforcement training, we also have EMS.
Right, there's some ocean rescue stuff, some EMS refreshers.
They get all the CEUs they need for recertification of EMT and 2 years EMS training.
Well, we'd like you to go back and bring us back about the long guns. I think it's another tool they can use. and
Where would they put them?
they have the-
But we didn't ask for shotguns in here, I don't think it's in here.
Well, long guns,
Right.
shotguns.
Where would you put
Didn't
it?
you originally ask for shotguns?
I don't think it's in here.
Just they have patrol vehicles, correct?
They would lock in the patrol vehicle.
What do you do now, like if you have your gear on and then you're called to assist someone? Tell me the dynamic there.
You mean in the water?
In the water. What happens with all your gear and everything else?
Well, right now, I wear my vest under my shirt, so I take my shirt off and my vest off. But the kind of out external vest that we're talking about, you can take the vest off a lot easier.
What happens with a weapon?
Policy states that everything gets locked in the cabin. Generally speaking, the ideal is that we have a key-coded lockbox mounted on the exterior of the vehicle that contains a entry key or fob that allows us to lock the keys and all of our weapons and equipment inside the vehicle when we enter the water. And then when we get back, you punch in the code, pull the key out of the box, unlock the truck, read on your gear from there. That's what we do by policy.
What happens if you have to go out there to a tower and you're covering for somebody and you have your gear? How does that work?
It would depend on the circumstance. Generally speaking, if we're gonna act in the capacity of solely a lifeguard, you would leave your equipment behind in the event that you would have to enter the water to effect the rescue. But if you're kind of staying, covering water with nearby towers and, the guard wants to use a restroom break or something of that nature, a lot of times you'll stay, in or next to your vehicle. Maybe elevate a little bit so you can cover the water and be able to respond to a rescue if needed.
Thank you.
For number 9, there's been some progress toward that end already. Ray and some of the other management staff have already been pushing people through some of this, what we consider to be baseline training. More people are being put through radar. That's why I was kind of surprised to see the whole article removed. I think that's a good policy for everyone. I mean, we're just trying to make sure that the employees have a basic level of training that can accomplish their requirements without problem.
Did you wanna move on?
But they're getting that now?
What's that?
I mean, right, there's already been an effort to push people through those courses.
We're limited by what's offered by the college when it's offered and
Yeah.
how many seats are available.
But I've noticed it.
So the goal is to try to get the
Right.
people everyone can.
Okay.
We actually did a radar course, it was actually specifically designed just for the beach. They came to the beach, they actually did the course right there at the beach.
We'll try and catch everyone.
Specifically for it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. What's your next one?
talked about pay study.
Okay.
We wanna, I mentioned skin cancer before, the screening for skin cancer.
And there's another thing that's popped, I saw an email.
Yeah,
Got
update
that
as
back
of
again.
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm putting a big push to make everybody go.
I told my people it's mandatory at this point.
That's another thing
And
that-
that's through our insurance, through Cigna.
May 9th and 10th. So that was done, those dates were scheduled purposely for both shifts. And the email came out yesterday.
Have you had occurrences of
Perfect.
skin cancer?
Yeah, you look at.
I've had a
Me
director
too,
die from
the
this.
scar right here, squamous cell.
I
You're Irish, Ray, that's why. Me and you, blue-eyed Irish boys.
never got in there a knife fight, I can't sure of, so.
Stay out of the sun.
At least get some color, I mean, look at this.
Yeah, I turn red, that's it.
It's an occupational hazard.
Yes. All right, that was 23.
Before we move on to that, because I didn't get a chance to respond to the email, is that gonna be an annual, something that Cigna's gonna be providing us?
That's the goal.
Okay.
They're proactive with a lot of things. They're actually doing mammograms out here, in the mobile truck, which isn't, it's just an example of stuff that they do that they want.
I'll pass on that one.
Hey, man. Man, if you get it.
The mammogram.
It's an overall proactive.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna be doing
Yeah.
some
We
disease
worked it out, so if you don't
management.
go,
Yeah,
We're gonna be doing more disease management with Cigna.
so that seems like that's already kind of in the works.
We've already started all that with Cigna.
Yeah, Tom and his folks actually thought of that, when we were going back 2 years ago to
no,
negotiate with
nobody,
Cigna.
that was fine.
Cover
Yeah.
that
Now
position.
somebody wanna go.
To Ray, I was like,
Everybody on my
We're
show.
very happy with that.
Okay.
Oh, 47, which is Article 26. The take-home car program. We talked about it before. Have you guys had any discussion about that? Maybe implementing some type of take-home car, even just, we said budgetary is really hard to start it, but maybe while they're working, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Something like that, just to start it out.
We don't need a take-home car program. That's,
Well, sure. That's a perk of a job,
Well, I know there may be a-
that's an industry standard now. These are things that people want, and most, I can't think of a department that doesn't, other than maybe Daytona Beach Shores and Beach Safety.
well, there's some
That
others that
everybody
don't. Well, I think I just saw a survey today where some others didn't do it. Who was it that did that?
What was that?
I saw a survey today where somebody was trying to didn't do it. But anyway, that,
Well, why would you be resistant if they're working? I'm working on Monday, Tuesday, and I just take it home on Monday night with me.
Well, maybe I'd just go over there, maybe I'd like to
I'm
go over there
subject
and
to
get-
call
get-
back.
Get a car too and drive it home,
Okay.
I'd like to drive one
I'm
home.
for it.
Just to drive one home,
You
it's.
probably can, do you have one? You
No,
don't?
no.
You probably would get one, you're the boss.
But just to drive one home, we don't need that, and plus that, it's not gonna deter, beach safety's not determining.
But Tom, the vehicle, and I could bring you the studies if you want to see, and I know you know they're out there, that car's gonna last longer, it's gonna look better, you have ownership in it, all those things are positives, that the guy's gonna check the oil all the time, the guy's gonna take care of it, he's gonna wash it, he's gonna wash it down, he's gonna make sure it's clean, he's gonna make sure it's gassed up all the time, it's his car, it's gonna look good, it's gonna last longer, there's tons of studies out there, and people like that, I know when Edgewater cop, I lived in Edgewater, my neighbors loved it. And they're gonna see if a beach ranger lives in their neighborhood, let me tell you what, these real estate guys should give you a kick, because people buy houses next to cops. They like it, whether it says beach patrol, or highway patrol, or Edgewater PD. That car's gonna last you longer, because they're gonna take care of it. I'm not saying you can't, I'm looking at 3 to 4 years to implement the whole thing, but just to say that, hey, we value you guys, you're gonna take it home, you're gonna wash it when you get there, you're gonna have pride in your vehicle, it's not my car, I really don't care. And you wanna say, well, we'll discipline people that leave McDonald's wrap and stuff like that? When you work with something like that, the cars don't last as long, they don't look as good. It's my car, I take care of it, I'm gonna polish it, wax it, wash it, vacuum it.
That's where you got 3 shifts or 2 shifts normally running. Here, they don't have that, multiple shifts. normally in a department that's running 24 hours a day, one guy or lady gets out of a car and another guy or lady gets into a car and they take off again, they don't take any ownership
Car
here.
never rests.
And in here, if you take it and you park it and you come back the next day, if that's the truck you were driving the day before, it's the same one you're driving the
So-
next day.
Well, just let them park it in their driveway and save them a couple of bucks, if they, you know,
Yeah,
as
but
long
that's
as they don't
tax-
live in Orange
I
County.
mean, that's taxpayer dollars to be saying, well, we're just gonna give it to you to take home.
Taxpayers would not care at all if a guy that lives in Edgewater takes it up to New Smyrna, Port Orange at all. More visibility, I mean, give me the argument against it, you're gonna tell me taxpayers would be against it? Absolutely not, they would encourage it.
We don't see the value of
Oh, it's about,
taking that car.
do you want me to show you the studies that tell you the cars last longer, they
Yeah,
look
yeah,
better?
but they're normal,
well
they're,
maintained?
they're when somebody else comes, gets the vehicle and takes it again, and it essentially becomes a pool car.
Correct.
But these aren't pool cars. They're not
Every
even
law
used like pool
enforcement
cars.
agency, other than the ones you thought you read today, and the shores, and it has those take-home cars, because they know it's a very key thing to give somebody a perk like that, and you have the cars,
Well,
why
no,
not
they
do it?
did it because they wasn't gonna put the next shift in that car who didn't
No,
take care of
they
it.
did it because they gotta make millennials happy, and they like to
No,
shine
they did it for
bright.
the Indianapolis plan, is what it was called, as you well know, and it was all based on what you originally said, not to give them a perk to take home, but because it essentially became a pool car, and nobody took ownership of it to make sure, nobody took the
Check
bags out of
oil,
it.
check everything.
Nobody did everything, but when you don't have that issue, you don't have that
But
issue.
if you have the vehicle, let's just work on something. I'm not saying you have to start day one. Let's work on it, and I think the easiest thing to do is just let them take it home while they're working. Why would you be resistant to that?
Gary, you said it's an industry standard. What industry?
Law enforcement.
And your article refers to all beach patrol bargaining employees, so the beach safety specialists aren't law enforcement.
Well, if they're
What
lifeguards,
value does that have?
do they have vehicles with lifeguards? Do they try to?
I asked you the question,
Right.
what industry are you referring to?
Law enforcement that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they, like I said, they're apples and oranges, because we're not using these as pool cars like they were, so we don't see a need to do that. And it's not there, but I understand why you want it. But, you know, it's easy to sit on the other side and just give away people's money, we don't care. It's your money, give it away. Well, Teamsters want to provide them one, maybe they ought to give them Teamsters ought to buy them a car and put it out there and say, take it home and drive it back.
But your argument was that the taxpayers won't like it, and I got an argument, they wouldn't have a problem with it.
You don't know that, because the deal is when we say, all right, they're gonna take it home for what reason? Well, they give it to everybody else because they work 24 hours, and the next shift would come on and take that car and it runs 24 hours nonstop. They don't happen here. These don't run 24 hours nonstop.
Some
Those
of them do.
those vehicles running 24 hours nonstop. Then somebody takes an ownership of it. But as a whole, that's not happening, and that's what the 24, the Indianapolis plan was set up, and that's not applicable here. And we just don't see a need.
We disagree with you.
Yeah, I understand you disagree, and it's just a way to give people more money, and I understand that. And,
How's it getting them more money?
well, they don't have to pay for a vehicle, they don't have to pay, for gas.
Back and forth to work,
Yeah,
not their days off,
that's.
not to go to the grocery store. I work 12 hours in the hot sun. I go home at 6 PM or 8 PM, wherever it is. I can just go straight to my house, go out of service, go in, go right to bed, shower and shave, get up in the morning, go 10-8 right in that car.
Well, we don't need you 10-8 till you get to the beach. We don't need that. We don't want you doing that.
I'm just telling you how it'll work.
Well, that's the problem. We don't want that. We want them on the beach doing the job. We don't want them going through another jurisdiction, trying to be somebody else that they're not. Those jurisdictions can handle
Post
that.
doing something. What?
We don't want them handling the other jurisdictions' issues. If they're going through the jurisdiction, we don't want them.
Well, how many times did they ask for backup?
Nobody's drowning,
You guys back up on their
nobody's
agencies?
drowning between their home and the beach. We really don't see that.
If
So
they're
we
gonna
don't
go
know
to
why-
duty 0800, that's what they're on the beach at 0800.
So I don't think we need.
Not in the driveway.
I don't think we need them, you're right, in their driveway, we don't need them 10-8 in their
That's-
driveway.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking when they go to duty at 0600, they're at the duty station 0600.
Okay. We understand. Everybody like a take-home car. We understand that. We understand everybody likes one, we just don't agree with that.
Will you include the beach safety specialist at some point in this?
Like I said, Joe, I mean, I don't expect, you know, on the budget and things like that, but I think there's something workable here for some people.
If they're on 12s.
Yeah, they're on 12s, I think it's very workable. I think guy works 12 hours in the hot sun, he just can go right home, straight home, and he's back the next day. I'm not talking his next 2 days off, I'm not talking a whole Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it sits in his driveway.
You know, home-
I'm sure
how
there's
about- how
people,
about- how about-
they take their car home and sits in their driveway, and they're not working right. Rank has its privileges,
Well, they all-
They're subject to
they all
call 24 hours a day.
so are these guys.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They are
You're
not.
telling me you don't call Brian up, say, we got a major situation here?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't call?
Nope.
Well, what do you do? Not handle something?
They'd respond to the beach, or we'd use the upland agencies.
You do what?
Use the upland agencies.
I'm just, they take care, you take your car home, Liz? And you're like an office person? Ray takes his, he's the chief.
She's a deputy chief.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So, I mean, they take their car home and sits in the driveway.
Well, then they're on call, they told you, they're
They're on
gonna
call
come, they're on
24/7.
24 hours, they gotta respond.
How many times have they responded in the last year?
Several.
Lots.
I can't give you the exact number, but
My
several.
phone rings all the
I'm
time.
I'm not begrudging you, that's the job you do, I'm sure that sometimes it's not very good that you have to go out there, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, I understand that, I live that life too. I'm just saying that it's something that's workable in the future, that it's done all over the place.
Well, it's a different
Deputies do
operation.
it.
It is, but it's not. You know, you keep saying that, but there are different operations, there are
I
different
know
things that
that.
do that, and not all of them do it. A lot of them do it, but the Indianapolis plan.
So why do you do it for the deputies?
Because the Indianapolis plan, they're gonna get in that car, I'm sure, and the next shift's gonna get in it and drive it. Here, it's just gonna go home and sit. Well, there's not another shift that's gonna run that car continuously, over and over and over.
Well, let's not beat
Yeah.
a dead horse, 'cause it's not.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Theirs is running
Well, I don't
24
think
hours,
there's a
ours
difference
aren't.
when they're 12-hour shifts, those guys working 12, I don't think there's a difference.
Well, I guess there is. That's the whole reason, if you ever read why they put an Indianapolis plan in, your model won't fit that model.
We do have some vehicles that run 24 hours a day. We have someone that works 5 AM to 5 PM, they leave at 5 PM, the night shift person gets in that vehicle at 5 PM and runs until 5 AM.
That's two, and it's supposed to be rotated, so that doesn't matter.
There's 3 right now, right?
The
But
2
the
o'clock,
vehicles
2 o'clock
are
guy
rotated.
is just a shift change, it's not a
That's a temporary thing.
It's just a 2 to 2.
shift.
Okay.
All right, what else you got?
Special assignment as percentage, I know you had shown us this stuff in here, stipend.
Yeah. Okay.
Or just a per hour, not a stipend, like a monthly stipend.
Okay.
Article 25, we'd like to put that back in the agreement.
We're gonna follow the law. One more this time. Okay,
Article 27. All right, I'm sorry, that's page 50, that's other duty. We don't want people doing janitorial work, maintenance work, construction work. Of any building or grounds or vehicles, there are county employees that do that, and I don't think people, their job classification should.
what are they gonna do? They don't have anything else to do, sit around?
What do you mean?
There's times they,
Their job responsibility.
No,
What's that?
we talked about this originally. What we would agree to is basic maintenance that is lifeguard tower repair. We don't want to do any structural maintenance, we don't want to clean toilets. You don't wanna be required to do clean toilets. Some of us do. Fixing a
Define
lifeguard tower,
structural needs.
fixing a lifeguard tower, fixing a traffic sign, that's one thing. Fixing a building or some type of structure is,
You're in a building less than a year old, what are you fixing?
look, I'm speaking for not just myself here. Okay, other employees have been required to fix lifeguard stations, buildings, control towers. I mean, it's happened, it happens. It's because we don't have anybody else to do it.
If it happened, it was a while ago, but you can ask facilities about
Yeah,
that, because it's
facilities
called
are-
up.
Exactly, that's what we're saying. And translated
That's what
into,
people do.
that's all we're saying.
Well,
We have
again,
facilities.
if it needs to
You
be
wanna put a zip tie
done,
on
and we
this
can't
wire,
get
call
facilities
facilities,
people there, and we got people there able to do it and available to do it, we want people to do
Get
it. But
facilities
overall,
there and get
they
them
don't
do it.
that.
That's their job.
You know, we need people to do it, but you know what, it's not happening all the time, so what we're hearing is it's becoming more rigid, what we can't do, not what we can do. And our deal is, hey, it don't happen hardly, but when it does, we need people to do it. If you need to transport an animal, and they need to transport them to move them out of the way, that's gotta be done. Hey,
There's circumstances, absolutely, and we agree with that, but on a continual basis, to do janitorial work?
I don't think anybody's on a regular basis has to do that.
Lee?
We police our stations, I mean, they get full of sand and mud, and at the end of the day, you sweep it out, or you have somebody sweep it out.
The garbage out.
Well, I mean, that's not to say we don't sweep out a station. We're saying it's only one of our stations has any type of clean staff at all. The other ones are totally cleaned by us, totally maintained by us.
And they're the size of this room, like that.
They're bigger than that.
Well,
Lunch.
Yeah, there's a garage in there too.
Well, what do you want, maids?
Well, our headquarters have it,
You know?
they do.
yes.
Office.
What do they have?
And they
It's
have
a big
janitorial
office building versus a small.
It's a lifeguard station.
It's like a 33,000 square foot.
Get one of them cars that's parked, and they can go, they can go to every one of them.
stuff. Okay, fine. That kid only has a vehicle.
All right.
In one of the vehicles.
We hear you, but, you know,
I
hear you, but I don't think it's an issue, I think.
Oh,
we're
it's a
making
big
an
issue.
Fire department, the fire station, they clean their stations.
Well, fire department are a different breed. They sleep. They let you take a nap during the day,
They don't-
during your workday?
They shouldn't be
No.
taking that, ours should be taking that during the workday, they should be after their hours, but they should be cleaning the station and doing station duty or other.
Because they got
during the
nothing
day.
else to do, fire, they sleep all night.
Well, these
They don't
folks,
work, and that's a good thing.
well, if these folks are beach safety specialists, whatever, well, they're getting paid, you're right. And if we decide to go do this, we need you here doing that, they're getting paid. But normally, they're not asked to do all it. If they're asked to have to do it, well, we expect them to do that.
Where does it stop?
You know,
I disagree.
I take my garbage can out sometimes when it gets full in the middle of the week and.
That's because your wife makes you.
Well, I'm about the one in here.
If they eat in the
I'm talking about
station,
the
they
one
have
in
to
here.
wash their own dishes, they're not gonna leave it to have somebody come in and wash the
That's
dishes for
anywhere.
them.
And they don't do that.
Any work
Yeah.
situation.
That's-
Well, have a
that's
nice
normal.
station, you keep it
Our
clean, and that's
staff
what it
cleans
takes.
up the break room, they can clean out the refrigerator, they wipe out the microwave, they do all that, my own staff here does that,
Good for them.
you know? But
God bless
I
them.
guess that it's beneath everybody
They
else
clean
to
the
do that.
toilet?
Huh?
They going to clean the toilet, public toilet?
If it was stopped up or some way to get it done, stopped down there, but they're not, they don't even leave anything here to do it.
They don't clean the toilet.
But I guarantee
they
you it's
vacuum?
stopped up.
The vacuum
Yes.
when we're done?
Yes, the answer is yes.
We
Yes,
have.
we do.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
if we have a problem here, yes, we take care of it. If there's a problem in the bathroom, yes,
Then
we
we
go in
take-
and take
take
it.
care of
Men
it.
and the women do it. So don't think we don't.
I
You're
didn't
not
say you
special. They're not special. They're not special.
didn't. They're paid for a job, like you're paid for a job, Jeff.
And I go in and do what I gotta do.
There you do, but if you can't handle it, you call somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
Facilities.
And,
Just
and-
like the-
and
just
when
like they do with
facilities
these
can
folks.
come over, they come over. They're not immediate because they have other responsibilities and they have other jobs and work assignments as well. Same thing.
What we're getting angry
Do you have
about
anything-
here, hold on,
Do you
let
have
me.
any documented?
Nobody getting
No, let me
angry.
interject, because when we talked about this originally, what we talked about was providing some alternative language. And it didn't happen because it was just totally taken out of the agreement proposal altogether. So that's all we're asking for, again, is some definitive language. Okay, you fix this, not this, you clean this, not that. You know, we just don't wanna be,
Well, once you get that,
Can't-
turn
that was agreed upon last time. Okay, we'll provide you with something, and it just didn't happen.
Because it's hard to say you can do this and do that, because then you pigeonhole yourself.
then it's like,
We
well,
pigeonhole
no, we're not
ourselves.
doing that.
That's all job requirements are. That's all they are. You do this and you do that.
Yes, and most job specs
And any other
It
duties-
says all other assigned duties.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
does.
catch-all.
Sure
That's
does.
against
Well,
you.
that's,
But if you just said, you know, regular maintenance of the workplace or something like that.
And that's called-
as trash and sweeping out as needed, things like that, but
I mean, I don't know why we have to downplay the law enforcement and upsell the janitor here. That's what we've been doing the whole time.